they come to be a team in the first place?
Gareth?
Didn't realise we were a team until today. This is the first time we've been in the same room in about a year. Ever since that incident we won't talk about. No, I'm kidding. I don't know, it was kind of... I was very lucky in that I had an agent through doing some TV stuff that I'd done. It was kind of a consolation prize from getting sacked for a particular job because I didn't have enough experience. And they said, well, I'm really sorry we have to get rid of you, Gareth, because the exec wants someone with more... it's like classic Catch-22. And he said, but I know someone who's an agent that I would love you to meet. So I met this lady called Amanda, and the first thing she said after I was talking to her was like, you've really got to meet Vertigo, because they've got the same sort of spirit of like, let's not talk about making films, let's pick up a camera and make one. And so I went round there, and in promoting the film that we made recently, the actual story becomes compressed until it's like this mythical story, and the actual story is really like that. I came to see you tell it better than me, but I came to see you, came to see James first with some visual effects work I'd done. I mainly did a lot of computer graphics for TV, but I was also directing the shows that I was doing the graphics for, and they're all done from my bedroom and all that nonsense. And then, and they weren't great. I wouldn't like look at them and go, oh, that's, God, you can tell that's directed by Francis Ford Coppola or someone. They were like telly, it's a bit of a factory process. And then had a chat, talked to James at the end of the meeting, let's pitch this idea about this monster movie, and James was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I thought, really? You know? And then I went home, and I spoke to a few of the friends of mine who were directors, who I was doing effects for, and I said, and at some point it came up, and I'd go, yeah, Vertigo have agreed to do this film with me, and they'd get a little nervous, like, oh my God, you can't be making a film because I've been trying to do this for 10 years. And then I started believing them and thinking, no, they're right. Yeah, it's obviously bullshit. They're not going to really make a film. Like, everyone talks about making a film. Everyone's got a film in development. Nobody actually goes and does it. And so out of fear, I got offered this job at TV that was quite a good thing. It was like an hour-long drama, in a sense, and I didn't take them up on the offer because I just thought it was going to be this development thing that would go on forever, and I wouldn't. And so I did this TV show, and then a year later I came back, and I think I'm glad in retrospect that, you know, we missed a few opportunities by waiting a year, but I'm glad that we did, because I think I was a better filmmaker for having had that experience. And also, Al wasn't convinced. He can say this now because we can all be honest about it.
I mean, I think the other thing that happened was that, you know, when Gareth came back the second time, we were kind of, Allan and I were going, what have you done for a year? Like, we were meant to be shooting a film a while ago, and you came back and you said, yeah, okay, I'm ready. You know, you are serious now. And I said, we were serious a year ago. Let's make a film in 3 months.
And the way I felt about it is I was going to go and make a film anyway. Like, I was going to spend 10 grand of my own money or whatever I had. I was going to go do it next. That's what I was going to do. I was like adamant about it. But I kind of, and I think it's a good litmus test for yourself, is that take everything you own, like everything, and sell it and back your own film. Do you think you will get that money back? You know what I mean? Will you see that money again? Because if you're worried about that, that's exactly what a complete stranger is going to be thinking who doesn't even know you. You know yourself. You should have the more confidence in yourself than anyone you're ever going to meet. And if you can't even do that yourself, why wouldn't you buy your own film? You know, it's going to be great, isn't it? Of course it is. Why wouldn't you sell everything you own and put a stake in that movie? And the honest answer for a lot of people is there's a side of them that knows that it might not work out, either because the film is going to cost too much, or the commerciality of the film is not that great. So it's just that realism of going into a meeting, people you don't know, and saying, could you just sort of, I know you've got kids and everything, and you don't know me, but could you chuck a load of money at me, and I'll make this thing for myself, and maybe you'll get some money back one day. It's just really unrealistic. So as soon as you say to yourself, okay, screw everyone else, I've got to do this, I'm going to do it with my own money, what's a small enough amount that I'm not going to really regret this? Okay, and how would I make it for that? Okay, good. And what's an idea where I'd probably claw that money back? Okay, good. The second you have that, people will give you the money because it's solid. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you will put your own money in, they'll go, you don't need to do that. we'll sort that out for you. You know, that's what we do for a living. And I feel like I was just going to go off and make Monsters or whatever it was on my own. I was just going to do it. But thank God met Vertigo. And then, I'm glad I didn't, and I'll just say this. The other reason why, to be a hypocrite for a second, you shouldn't make a film with your own money, but you should plan to, is because it got so hard in the middle of filming that if it was our cash, me and the actors, we'd have all looked at each other at some point and gone, should we just go back and call it, you know, just have a rest, a break? And everyone would have gone, yes, this is all getting too much. We would have gone home and we would never have been motivated to go back. But when it's someone else's, if you're slightly concerned about other people's money when they've given it you, you have to carry on.
When you hear a writer or a writer-director pitch an idea, you just know that's movie, right? Explain a bit further so that people here who are talking to potential producers and directors, what it is they're looking for. How would you define that moviness that's separate to being a TV drama?
I think, Gareth, because it's like kind of, you know, one of the things I think is like Gareth's view of what, you know, of his understanding of his audience, you know, as a director, which I think is quite.
Like, what's the difference between a TV show and a film? I don't know. I think there's a lot of people, like, people talk about ideas, or I've got some ideas for things I'd like to do, or some people tell you an idea, and I think, well, that's a really good idea, but that should be on TV. Yeah. Like, that's not a film. And you think, what do I mean by that? As you say it to yourself, and then you go, what I mean is it's not got like an epic scope to it. And it doesn't mean that every film has to have loads of explosions or helicopter shots or anything like this. It just means it has to aspire to be like a once-in-a-lifetime event. Like, if that happened to you, it would be such a profound, monumental experience that if you shared it with someone, it would mean something, and they'd carry it with them for the rest of their life. Like, I do my favourite films, and they're all epic. And I don't mean they have to be visually epic. They can be emotionally epic. I can take you through such a roller coaster that by the end of that story, you feel like you've learned, or you've grown, you know, you've learned something about life in a way. And so I feel like you should aim big. You've got this massive canvas. You've got this world stage, you know. You should be aiming big, but it doesn't mean you have to, like, the thing is, for people that haven't seen Monsters, the way I'm talking about it often makes it sound like it's some crazy, stomping sci-fi thing, and it's not. It's a very personal, intimate drama that's a relationship at the heart of it, and it's very subtle, I hope, and poignant and things, and that we get attacked for that. I've got a lot of fanboys want to punch me because it's called Monsters. Why is there not more monsters in it? Type thing, but. And my goal, my holy grail, and what I want to do if I have a career ever at this sort of thing is to combine the two. Like, have something that's very personal and artistic, if you can, and also it's commercial, and lots of people go to see it and really like it. Like, I think if you're just going for one, well, you know, you'll make loads of money, but it'll be a piece of shit. And if you're going for the other, you'll. I actually personally believe if you're only making a film for yourself. If you genuinely walk away thinking that, I'm just making this for me, do yourself a massive favour and just, for 90 minutes, when you get home, close your eyes and picture that movie and then go do something else. Like, you've seen it, great, that was great, I had a great experience. Now get on with your life and do something more constructive. Because it's like, if it is for you, just fucking close your eyes and picture it. You want it, you do it because you want to show someone else, and you hope that someone else there in the world is like you and is going to watch it and go, I'm not alone. Hey, yeah, I feel that way, or I had this very intimate experience through some of the story, and so you do it for other people, and ultimately there will become a choice between, if you do it for everyone, you might have to compromise a bit. If you do it for a few people, you won't. You know, if you do it for people like you, if there's enough people like you, you'll be okay. Can I say this? You know what I'm going to say.
No,
when you came over to Cancun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We were having a terrible time. It was great and everything. We were making the film we wanted to. It was all coming out well. But it was the most stressful thing I'd ever done in my life by a mile. And James came out all of a sudden, and the dynamic changed because the producer was on set. And we were sitting around, and I couldn't eat. I was just feeling so crap about it all. And James was like, what's the matter with you? And I said, I wish... Because I don't know what we were spending at that point. It wasn't crazy, but I said, next time can we just make a film for $1,000 or something? Because I just feel all this pressure that, like, you've got to make all your money back, and I'm not sure this film we're making is going to do that because of the nature of what we're trying to do. And James was like, look, he was like, we have this pie chart of the way we view things at Vertigo, and there's different types of money. There's commercial money, there's, you know, passion projects, and then there's like crazy money that's just like crazy experiment that should be binned when it's finished. It should be stillborn. It's not going to work. And he said that the Monsters budget came out of that. and he was like, so if at the end of this film it ends up in a dustbin and no one ever even sees it, right? We'll still be glad we tried. And he says, and we're backing you. We've picked you because we want you to make your film. Like, so just stop worrying about anything. It doesn't matter. Just go make, we want you, as long as you come back and you've made the film you want to make, then we'll be happy. And it was the perfect thing anyone could have said at that point. He was full of shit. He didn't mean any of it. He was actually thinking, if you fuck this up, I'm going to shoot your kneecaps. We're going to send Nick Love round.
No, and also, and I can truthfully say that, he's the only filmmaker we've ever worked with in 18 films that gave a shit about the production money. Really, 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 really cared about it. That I've never seen a director so worried that he's going to lose his money.
Everyone in the film, apart from the main actors, were just people we met. We did the road trip that the film does, kind of thing, and shot as we went and figured it out as we went a bit. And that obviously kept the price down, because I feel like when you write a script, you're kind of inventing a lot of specific detail that you don't really care about, but you have to explain what room they're in and what a dog goes past, or you're just creating stuff. So you put it in there, then a producer tallies all that up and goes, we can't do this for less than like 2 million because of all this random nonsense that you've added. It's really the story you're telling, not the details. And so it felt like, well, if we don't get that anal about all these little elements and we just have the story, but I don't care which room it's in, I don't care what environment we're in, I don't care who the people are that we meet necessarily, as long as we have these sort of conversations or imply these beats to the audience. And by doing that, it just became really cheap, because we would just go in a van and we would pull up and we would see a cool place. We'd head somewhere we thought would be good, and on the way we'd either pass somewhere better or we'd get there and find it. And we'd say, okay, well, let's do this scene, and we'd have a conversation. And we wouldn't have dialogue written necessarily. It would be just a conversation between me and the actors about what the scene's about, and then let them just freestyle it, and I'd shoot the crap out of it. And then we'd just go, anyone here speak English? And we'd pull people from this that were passing. Everything in the film, like, I could bore you with it, I won't, but you could literally freeze any part of the film, and I'd probably be going, okay, that vehicle they're in, we found that 2 minutes before we started filming. We flagged that down as it went past us in the street. That guy there that we're talking to, he didn't even know I had a camera until he turned around, and and all this sort of stuff. And so that made it incredibly cheap, and it allowed me a lot of, because this is the thing, is as an artist, what you really want, the best thing you want, or what you want, is you want creative freedom. Like that is what I would aspire to get, is to be able to have the freedom to do what I want to do.